This is Dan Meyer with RCR Wireless News. We're here at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. I'm here with Joe Kafari from PCD. Joe, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
Good. Well, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Maybe we can start out with, can you give us, a little background on how PCD kind of fits into the mobile ecosystem? I think a lot of people have an idea, but maybe don't know exactly what you guys do and how you guys play in the space.
Sure. So PCD's been around for about 3.5 years now. Prior to being PCD, we were part of the UT Starcom family, and prior to UT Starcom, the company was AudioVox Communications. So we've actually been in the communications business, in the cell phone business, since cell phones were invented back in the late 80s. Everything since the first installed mobile phones to today's highest tech 4G quad-core processor type devices. The company exists to really be the bridge between Asian manufacturers who are looking to bring this fantastic new technology into the US market or North America or South America, depending on the product. We're that bridge that allows us to take consumer demand on the carrier side and match it with product development on the OEM side. So we represent multiple OEMs, whether it's Casio, whether it's HTC, whether it's Sharp. We work with multiple different manufacturers to make sure when the consumer is looking for a specific type of product, we have a portfolio of different products and services to meet that need.
So do you guys have a preset specs that you guys can then kind of offer to them, or do you guys go with, if they come to you, do you have a whole design that you guys can do for them, or if an HTC comes to you, how does that, what's the next step in that puzzle there?
So depending on who the manufacturer is, we'll bring their product portfolio that they've created for, say, right now we'll work on 2013, which seems like so far off, but we'll be sitting in Vegas for the next week and it'll feel like 2013 by next Monday. And we'll take their product portfolio that they're working on that's not 2012 centric, that's 2013, 2014, as they're looking at the trends, the carrier trends are going on, they'll build their product portfolio. We'll introduce that product portfolio to the carrier. The carrier will then narrow it down, and then we'll work with the manufacturer to take what was an initial concept or design and modify it and customize it to what the carrier demand is. So you're literally taking the carriers investing in what consumer trends are going on to the OEMs investing on technology trends are going on, and we're the glue that brings those two together. Even a design firm per se, we're really a sales and marketing firm that takes our engineering resources so that when you're a manufacturer, regardless of how big or how small, the most important service that we can offer you is the certification. Sure. So bringing a product to market today is an interesting process. You have phenomenal technology being developed, but it still has to go through the carrier certification process. Whether it's Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, US Cellular, they all have their own process. So being in the business for 30 years, we've become experts in that process from an engineering perspective. So at the end of the day, we take that product life cycle and we're able to condense it because we've done it so many times. So we shorten the time to market. So when a manufacturer is looking to bring a product to market, and if you think of it in terms of time to revenue for them, we reduce that and increase their capitalization.
And the Commando is the smartphone that they launched, I think, last year. Now you guys are doing some extra stuff with them on some advertising and some marketing as well with that device?
Yeah, so we're very fortunate to have this Casio device. It's the first rugged, full mil-spec Android smartphone on the market today. It was launched last summer. We sponsored the Summer X Games with it, and it's the ideal device for that action sport fan and action sport athlete. If you look at the commercials that we've built, we didn't have to go out and look for a whole bunch of talent. We had people saying, I want that phone because that's what I do. I ride a BMX bike, I go up, I spin around, I jump, I land, I crash, I get hurt, my phone survives. So it spans that gamut of I don't want to call them extreme athletes because they're not. They're really true athletes, but they do different sports than your traditional 4 major sports that we have in America. We're now sponsoring the X Games winner that's coming up January 26th through 29th out in Aspen. And again, it's a device, well, we did it in the summer, and it was perfect because it's rugged, it's shockproof, it's dustproof. So when you're out in LA and the rally driver is cruising around the course, there's all sorts of dust being kicked up and all sorts of other stuff in LA getting kicked up, right? Yeah. Well, now take that and translate it to Aspen. So now it's hopefully snowy, and the sunny that it is, the phone can get dropped in the snow. My kids use the phone, they drop it off the lift, they go, they pick it up, they use it again. if any parent's ever been out there and had their child with, whether it's a feature phone or an iPhone or any other type of device, and they've ever dropped it, it is the worst experience ever, because inevitably any other phone you drop it and you just hear this horrible crack. And then the next sound is your child, who has become so attached to that device, telling you they have to go to the store and get a new one. And it's not a real pleasurable financial experience. So you've got to go through that whole process. With the Casio Commando and the whole Gs1 line of products, they are truly rugged. These things can be submersed underwater for 30 minutes at a time. They can be dropped off their bikes and off other things. It's kind of like it's a phone with a helmet on, is a good way to think of it. Yet it's still sleek, so it's very easy to use, and it's still all Android based. We're definitely involved in the process. We don't actually manufacture anything. So when we bring a product to market and we partner with HTC, we help HTC with the forward and reverse logistics, with the sell-through. We have a team of salespeople out there across the country that goes into the call centers and works with the individual reps and managers to make sure that people understand what the phone can do and why they should be selling it to their customers. Perfect example, one of the phones that we've come out with recently is the Pantech Breakout, the first mass market price-wise 4G LTE phone on the Verizon network. And it's a great device because you've got customers that have feature phones today, but they don't necessarily want to jump up to a $300 super phone. They don't need everything, but they want that experience of data, but they want also the experience of the new 4G high-speed data without, breaking the bank to do it. So the retail price on this product at Verizon today is $49. So it's very consumer-friendly price point-wise. It's a very easy device to use. It's not overwhelming from a UI perspective. It's not running any kind of difficult functions to use. It's very intuitive. So we've seen great traction across kind of the mass market with the Pantech Breakout. So the Android world is absolutely exploding. The number of devices that are featuring Android today are just the tip of the iceberg. You're talking about devices, say, they're handset, mobile-based. In the future, we'll see devices that we might have in our living room that we're using a remote control to control. And now we've got this kind of synergy between the device that we have in our hand and we carry around to work and the TV that sits on the wall, and the interaction between those devices, so that I can have content that's portable, and I start watching a movie on my phone, and I get home and I want to flick it up to the screen, and I want to watch it on the big screen. That type of synergy is where Android's going to take us. The number of operating systems that exist today are completely now dominated by the iOS operating system, obviously, and now Android has surpassed what iOS is doing. Just the sheer plethora of devices that are out there, and now with the Android ecosystem that's been built and the number of non-handset devices coming out, it gets really impressive of where the technology is going and what Google's investing into it.
Yeah, I noticed you guys also have a tablet device you guys are working on as well. Do you guys see that market as kind of being the next growth period for you guys, or how do you see that?
So there's a few emerging markets that are starting to happen. The tablet market, as we all know, is dominated by the iPad. It's an amazing device. The tablet devices that are now coming out are different UIs, different Android-type operating systems, so the enterprise aspect of it can be a little bit tighter for those customers that aren't allowed to use an iOS device on there. So there's a great alternative. The other emerging market are these fixed wireless devices that have really taken off over the last 12 months for us, that allow a consumer to go unplug from their home phone company and to leverage the wireless system now for that exact same cordless phone that they've got on their desktop, but now running over the wireless network. And we have offerings for both Verizon, for Sprint, and other carriers as well. That market really started taking off last year. The next market that's really started taking off is the home broadband market. So it's a natural evolution of, I now have voice, now I need data. Now I have this, these carriers are putting a tremendous amount of investment into these 4G data networks. So why not leverage it into a home broadband service? If you think about the deficiencies that DSL offer customers and the pervasiveness now that the 4G LTE networks are getting, it makes total sense to offer a 4G data home broadband service for customer. And the next market and the last market that we really see emerging in 2012 is the whole telematics market. The emergence of the ability for my car to communicate with me and for me to communicate with my car, which sounds absolutely crazy. But now we're in Vegas. Now the weather's decent out here today. It's 60 degrees. I'm going to guess in the summertime it's not quite 60 degrees. It might be 160 degrees. And maybe you want to use your Android phone to put your windows on in your car. Or maybe even start your car and turn the air conditioning on. these types of applications where it's a simple module that companies like PCD bring to companies, whether it's the automotive manufacturers that we're all very familiar with, or the carriers themselves, to now sync up your vehicle with your handset. Huge exploding market this year for PCD as well as the carrier industry.
Makes sense. Well, great. Well, Joe, I appreciate the time today. Thanks so much for explaining what PCD does. So I think we're a little clearer on that, but also showing us the different devices too. We definitely appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. All right. Well, this is Dan Meyer with RCR at the Consumer Electronics Show here in Las Vegas. Thanks.